Okay, something really interesting is happening. Um, like I in my last video, it is the I learn the most by giving advice to others. So typically, when people give me advice to me, I don't learn from it, but I learn from solving other people's problems because it they are metaphors to my life. Whatever solves your problem will also solve my problem. So the conversations I've had, two people, have come to me and asked me for some advice, and I learned so much from these conversations. It's like it's such a gift. And a lot of it was this guy had quit smoking, but still is dealing with the effects of cleaning your body out and everything from smoking. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily true because I have quit once. I've quit once where I didn't have any side effects whatsoever. I had repeated the phrase over and over and over again for a good 6 months that quitting smoking was the easiest thing I've ever done, and I will have no side effects whatsoever. And I said that for 6 months solid, and I quit smoking and just never ever had a desire for a smoke. It just was gone. And no side effects, nothing. It was the easiest thing. It made me feel so powerful, so strong, everything. And then my son got married without me there, and that was a little upsetting. And then I started smoking again. So it's those devastating things usually always come up and got me smoking again. So that's more of where it's like I've got this rule in my head and I can see it caused by my father that as soon as you quit smoking, some bad shit's gonna happen. And I can see that pattern within my dad that he created his own shit that ended up being attracted into his life. And I know damn well that the shit that comes into my life, I'm attracting it. Clearly, how to go to a wedding that I couldn't afford. Um, those hoops of solving that problem at some point was no longer my business. That it was clearly something that I wasn't in a position to solve that problem. So sometimes I think the lesson is when to know it's not your lesson, but it's like you listen to the words. Like my daughter-in-law said it clearly, so I can back off. Is she wants to make her own mistakes, so she's busy making her mistakes, and who am I to stop her from making her mistakes? So sometimes when like it's really painful when your own son, for whatever reason that he can't even sit down and have a peace table and communicate a problem out, would get married without his mother. That would be something very painful he's going to create in his own life. Um, Knowing that it's going to be really painful for me until he works it out. He's got a lot of negative energy there that, I can't deprive him of that lesson. Um, Sometimes as a mother, empathy and caring about your kids is making sure that they don't feel any pain in life. But when you devote so much of your life and never be respected, never be understood, never have everything that was asked of me is not something that can be done in return back. There's a disrespect there. And I was the teacher of that disrespect because I had too much empathy and I could understand. And I was always protecting as much as I was allowing them to Yeah, if you want to learn your lesson, go ahead, learn your lesson. But, you know, there is that mother thing of trying to prevent it. But um, that is where my kids are in right now, is they are busy learning whatever lesson it is that they want to learn for themselves. That's what happens when we become adults. You know, you get into this teenage stage where you know it all, and then with your knowing of it all, you turn into your 20s and live your life making mistakes and having kids, and then while you're making mistake having kids, you're going to teach them how to do everything wrong your way. You know, and this is the perpetual game that's played at generation after generation after generation. And I don't think maturity comes with age. I think maturity comes with responsibility, accountability, level of respect, level of understanding, how you walk through in your life, how you can overcome your challenges. I think that's what maturity is that when you learn from your mistakes, you recognize you have a mistake, you learn from it, and then you do better from it. And then you reach a stage of maturity. Now, because I have a smoking addiction, that is not in alignment with myself. It's not up to anybody else to decide my maturity level, which means you cannot choose to say I'm more mature than you. You do not have the right to say I'm less mature than you. You only have to judge where your maturity level is. So I'm not going to judge anybody else's maturity level. Um, I'm going to focus on my own maturity. And because the recognition of somebody's immaturity just keeps them immature. But when you start, it's like being anger grows. It's like paying attention to evil grows. But when you pay attention to the maturity level, then the maturity level grows. So um, with a maturity level, you're not judging other people's maturity level, but just understanding that every one of us are maturing in our own way. We all have our own purposes. So, how we mature is not for one to say. You're mature when you know your life is going well. And I question somebody's life who's going well when there's so much poverty in the world. Maybe you are doing so well in your world because of the poverty you create in the world and you don't notice it. So maybe your maturity level is that you're completely unaware of what it is you're doing yet. Um, I would say that you can only be happy in a world where everybody else is happy. Otherwise, you got an enemy. One way, shape, or form. Anyways, so I'm if I'm going to be designing an ADHD and it's repetitive behavior that we're looking at, and there's a repetitive behavior within my smoking addiction, um, and it's time for me to get to work and get really, really healthy. Yeah, it is going to be the process that works for me to get rid of this smoking addiction and mature from the smoking addiction. That if it works for me for this, then it would work for anybody that's suffering with any ADHD or any attention deficit type of disorder or autism. All of these should work identically. The same rules that get rid of my smoking addiction are the same things that would get rid of any other behavior that's going on within these mental health issues. They're just repetitive if do while statements. Um, so you come up with new rules. Um, you have to recognize that you have a rule first. And it will always be guiding of your purpose. And you won't be in alignment with your purpose, you're in disalignment with your purpose. So it is like for adults, they kind of have to back off and not try and push their will on their kids, but allow their kids' will, their purpose to shine. It's like the parents have to learn how to be horse whisperers if they want to help their children. So, and that is the same example as society needs to know how to unfold um, those that suffer from addiction, or those that suffer from a mental illness, or those that suffer from something that is not functioning within society. You don't push your will on them, but push their full potential out, and you'll get more from it. It's more rewarding. Um, so for me, because I don't have that society support, that family support, I'm hoping to say, well, that would have been a lot helpful if everybody kind of knew and understood what it is I was doing, but I got to do it without it just so I can start this new understanding of how it goes. Um, any advice that I would give somebody else of how to heal their behaviors, the advice I give to them would be the advice I need to be hearing for myself. So I don't need society to really do it. If I know the advice, I should be able to tell it to myself, which anybody can do if you know that that's what's going on. So it is a recognition that I needed to um, live my purpose. That's what my addictions were all about. And to gain some confidence, every single thing all of the intentions that were in those bottles, I really needed to know a deeper, deeper, deeper feeling of it. And it's a matter of having those feelings without having those feelings, type of thing. But it's a belief that you know that, hey, if I just drink these waters and I feel these chemicals and I just pay attention to it, nothing's happened, but I know it will. There was a level of confidence, but there wasn't a level of confidence. And a lot of the confidence that I did have came from my cigarettes. So now it's like I have to have a maturity level that says, I know I have confidence in myself without that addiction. I know that ultimately that smoking was my way of finding my own inner voice through my cigarette, but it still was coming from me. Um, if I was getting calmness from it, I could get calmness without that cigarette. Everything that something in that particle world I thought I needed, it was actually me doing it in the first place. And it's sort of like my maturity level to know that, hey, I could do it myself. If I needed to feel calm, or I needed whatever it is I needed to feel through that, I can feel that way from within, which leads me to something that I'm running out of time with and want to say, but a lot of things are about changing your mind, changing and going into something a little deeper. And it's a long story, but I wanted to never be rained on. It's a really good story, and I've put it in my other videos, but I've never been rained on for like 10 years now. And today I went out in the rain, and yesterday I found out that there's radiation in the air. It's 50.53 whatever's, which I was told is pretty high. And I go out for my walk today, and it's raining. And so it's like, that's interesting. I have this control over the skies that they don't rain on me. I know I have the power to do that. I've seen it. I've been able to see it without a doubt. It's, other people seen it too. Um, so why rain on me now? And right the day after. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should talk to people that are out in the rain today. And then I thought, no, you know what? The fear of it, the fear of knowing that there's radiation in the air is what causes the stress that causes more illness. And the first people that I ran across was a mother and a kid. So it's like, no, I think it's probably best not to um, let them know about it. But there is a way of being safe from it. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to do this on another tape because it really is interesting.